Members of Council and fellow citizens of Edmonton, my name is Sean Wagner and I'm the founder of Alberta Nuclear Nucleus Limited, a nonprofit working towards encouraging and advocating for nuclear energy as part of the mix that we need to tackle climate change. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today here on this Treaty 6 land pertaining to this important topic that affects us all. Edmonton's current climate change strategy states that in accordance with the 1.5 degrees Celsius goal, we must limit the emission produced in the city to less than 155 megatons of CO2 between 2017 and 2050. However, we have unfortunately acknowledged that this current plan will likely not be able to hold us to those limits. Why is this? I wish to make the case that it's because nuclear energy is being neglected in the conversation. We talk about community-driven change and how everyone can pitch in. The Citizens Panel on Edmonton's Energy and Climate Challenges of 2013 showed that what Edmontons think of when we look for a low-carbon future. But nuclear is conspicuous by its absence. Consistent with the Citizens Panel and other similar documents outline the proposed path to zero carbon. There is a common theme of increasing efficiency, but also of reducing production, reducing consumption, reducing energy. Nuclear energy can provide a strong foundation for zero carbon future that promotes abundance for all, instead of the restriction on energy. This is even more important since access to energy is the highest correlated factor when pursuing an increase in quality of life for everyone. Unfortunately, not once in the Citizens Panel, the Getting to 1.5 degrees C discussion paper of 2019 or the Edmonton Energy Transition Strategy targets of 2019 was nuclear energy mentioned, which indicates that Edmontonians might erroneously believe that nuclear energy has nothing to offer them. This belief could not be further from the truth, but to keep this brief, I will only mention two direct benefits nuclear energy can provide in helping us lower our city's CO2 emissions. First and of most direct relevance is that the only industrialized nations or political entities that have effectively decarbonized their grids have done so with mixtures of nuclear and hydropower. The proven ability to completely replace carbon-intensive sources with zero-carbon electricity is reason alone why nuclear should be considered more seriously. Just by converting Edmonton's current electricity generation to nuclear, we could save over 7 megatons of CO2 a year. And this is according to the numbers available in the Edmonton Energy Transition Discussion Paper of 2012. And that's without asking any Edmontonians to make any changes to their personal lives or their behavior, or attempting to push out energy-intensive industries from our local economy. As an example of how nuclear can help reduce heavy industry emissions, take the Leeds concrete plant in northwest Edmonton. It utilizes two coal burners that run at approximately 25 to 30 tons of coal an hour all told. And these produce megawatts of between 150 and 200 megawatts of heat to run the chemical reaction needed to produce raw materials for its product. Both of those burners can be replaced with one of several new designs for small modular reactors that are currently being licensed by the CNSC. Either by producing hydrogen or as a replacement heat source for extracting directly from the reactors, retrofitting the facility to operate with this heat source could reduce Edmonton's GHG production by over a megaton a year. We keep hearing that we need to be more aggressive with our policies in reducing emissions, or that we should be using every method available to us, but lack of acknowledgement of the benefits and inclusion of nuclear energy in the conversations only hurt our ability to reach our goals. As the Edmonton Energy Transition Discussion Paper states in the executive summary, some opportunities, such as solar and other emerging technologies, are currently more expensive than conventional energy systems, but are expected to become more cost competitive as they reach greater economies of scale and the cost of conventional energy increase. The authors of this paper recommend the City of Edmonton take advantage of the most cost-competitive opportunities in the short term, while preparing now for when more expensive opportunities become cost-competitive. New nuclear technologies resembling that recommendation are coming soon. This Council and Edmontonians everywhere should be aware of their capabilities and publicly consider the benefits of being ready to capitalize on them when they arrive. We can lead the way to zero carbon in the most carbon-intense province in the Confederation if we choose to invest stably and intelligently in nuclear energy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And Mr. Webner, the nuclear expert. Nuclear expert energy is nothing new.
No.
Okay. Tell me, why hasn't it taken off? If the way you say it is cheaper, it's easier, but it hasn't really made its mark yet.
Nuclear suffers from a really bad case of PR.
And unfortunately, a lot of people look at it and they look at the recent history of nuclear construction, let alone any of the very public events that have happened with nuclear that are negative to public consciousness. But the problem is that everyone looks at the United States' version of how nuclear plants should be built. Every plant is custom. Every opportunity there is evaluated individually, and every set of regulations for it is rewritten from the beginning. It takes a very long time. It costs a lot of overtime for it because things sometimes get changed in the middle of construction. If you look at countries like France or Sweden, they licensed 2 or 3 reactor designs. They planned everything out beforehand, and they set one set of regulations before anything was constructed or even ground was broken. France built 45 nuclear reactors in under 10 years, and they basically decarbonized. So the idea behind nuclear not catching on is mostly a regulatory thing. If the groundwork is prepared, and if the companies building the reactors are satisfied in the security of their investment and that nothing will change once the construction has begun, nuclear can build very, very quickly. South Korea is one of the latest countries to build large-scale reactors, and they built a 1.5 gigawatt reactor in 4 years from groundbreaking to first power. Nuclear can be built very quickly. Unfortunately, it's just it's mostly a public perception issue, and that's what my group is trying to change. We want to bring it back into the conversation so that people can be more informed about what it does and how quickly it can come into play.
Thank you.